This is the type of episode I've been asking for. Agatha All Along, episode 7 just dropped and it was phenomenal. It was so good that it made me like some of the other episodes a little less. So let's break it down. Spoilers if you aren't up to date with Agatha All Along. Breaking that sigil degraded teens and Agatha's relationship so much, and suddenly all of the redeeming qualities that we've seen from Agatha lately are just gone. She's treating Teen the way she treats everyone else. Keep that he clocked that she's probably never been to the witch's road. Something I tried to tell ya. For the first time, she didn't have a retort. That's who Agatha is. She's unlikable. There's a reason why all the other witches don't bang with her. And it's not just because she be siphoning off people's power to death. Agatha is one of those people who's only nice to people that she loves. And for a minute, she thought Teen was her son. Now that she knows he's the reincarnation of her enemy, he is, and I have to say rightfully so, treating him like the op he is. This opening scene delivered so many lines that gave me the camp that I've been asking for. Again, Catherine Hahn doing her thing. Saying your mom's ex best friend. And then her also saying, if you want straight answers, ask a straight woman. I love it. I'm honestly surprised at how gay this show is. Historically, when we see a gay character in Marvel, we just kind of know they're gay. Agatha may as well be wearing a pride flag, and I'm here for it. I'm sure Patti LuPone has never gotten any notes, but I just want to be on the record saying no notes. It's clear that Lilia's outbursts were tied to her seeing the future. It was still a very cool visual to see all of the scenes line up to complete a sentence. Patty made sure that when she was acting out the scene, she didn't just seem kooky or odd. She was reacting as if she was in that moment every time. There was an endearing quality when she said, you know, before we were all enemies, but now, and then it moved to I love you guys. Genuine fear when she said, Alice, don't, and then save Agatha. The quiet resolve when she said the tower turned upside down. Here's where the kookiness of the show aligns with allegories of what it means to be a woman like Lilia. Lilia is an old woman. So people don't take her seriously. They coddle her and they treat her like a child. They also are sure to steamroll her and remove her agency, even when she is the one that's needed. At the beginning of the trial, none of them know divination. None of them know tarot. I mean, they know, but they don't know like Lilia does. And yet they're rushing her, talking over her, telling her she's doing it wrong. I've never seen a group of women mansplain so hard, but that's how people interact with their seniors, regardless of gender. You relegate their thoughts to being out of touch. We don't give them the respect they deserve or heed any of their wisdom. Moment in the tunnels where she says to Jennifer, hey, you just think I'm a kooky old lady. Jennifer responds with, what else should I think of you as? And at that point, Lilia doesn't know. Ooh, this episode's so good. This by far was the best composed witch trial for me. You know, 2 out of the 3 witch trials ended in death and one ended in a serious injury. It was a light-hearted tone to it that never really put the impact on what they were going through. And I really didn't feel the character arcs the way that I did with Lilia, which looking back on it, I'm really trying to understand why. Jennifer's felt superficial. There was so much to tackle about her being Black and her rediscovering holistic medicine. Alice was fighting generational trauma personified, and I was laughing. I thought it was ridiculous and gimmicky. I maybe because they played out that song earlier, but I don't know. It didn't impact me. Even Agatha, who heard from her son for the first time and God knows what, had these kooky moments in that witch trial that really took me out of it. Versus Lilia, who I felt like went through a full character arc in this trial. And maybe because her death was the only one that was chosen, but even beyond that, the costumes that they got in this trial represented so much more than what we saw in the other trials where it felt like they were just playing dress up. But let's take a moment to talk about the costumes, because they were all so very significant. This is Lilia's trial, and her biggest pet peeve is the depiction of witches over the ages, especially since she seemed to be old enough to be at the dawn of witches. So as a way to kind of mock her, the trial made them the most iconic witches that created these stereotypes. But we can't just pay attention to the witches they were assigned, but the specific costumes that they have. Agatha is the Wicked Witch of the West. Of course, people don't like her. She is actually mean. But this Wicked Witch is the one from the musical. not from The Wizard of Oz. Peep that she has a more academic look and not the draping that we typically see in The Wizard of Oz. That version of the Wicked Witch is anti-establishment and misunderstood. Billy is Maleficent, but not the one from the Sleeping Beauty cartoon. He's the one from the live action film Maleficent with Angelina Jolie. That's why he made a comment about the cheekbones. And that Maleficent is shaped by trauma. Jen is the evil queen. Instead of her being in her true form, they assigned her the one where she's in disguise, hinting that Jennifer is manipulating the situation, which we've been seeing. She was the one to originally cast doubt in the entire group, particularly with Billy. She the one being messy. She was the first one to scream out, "Let's hurt Agatha." Just like the evil queen betrayed Snow White's hospitality by giving her this poison apple, I think we're going to see the same with Jennifer in the final episode. Finally, Lilia gets to be the only good representation of a witch, someone who enacts change by following the rules. For this episode, none of the deaths actually felt real to me. In my head, Sharon and Alice were going to come back at one point, which is also a product of comic book media. Typically, deaths don't stick, and so the effectiveness of these death scenes suffer. The Alice death scenes, a lot of people were like, oh, this is a premonition. This is not real. We're going to see Alice soon. And now it's understood the witch's road is exactly what they were saying. People die. What was so beautiful and tragic about this death beyond the falling scene? I love a good falling scene, and this one was done so well, particularly in the beginning when it was black and she kind of fell out of screen. But what was tragic about it was the fact that this happened after she successfully finished the trial. This was the only trial where no one got hurt or injured by carelessness. For the first time and maybe ever, Lilia was self-actualized. Because even in the trial, she started by centering Billy. I was on that journey with her, finding out who she was. And then her saying, "I love being a witch." Please. Through all the pain and suffering and loss that she received as a witch, she wouldn't trade it for the world. And so she died happy, content, peaceful, ready to meet our girl Rio, whose reveal may have seemed obvious to people like us who read comics or are chronically online. But if I was someone who was just watching Agatha all along, I would have been shocked at this reveal, even though they set it up very well. And it recontextualizes the fallout between her and Agatha, because we know now for certain that she had to take her son. Just how hard that must have been for both of them. Listen, this episode was everything I've been asking for. It was actual camp, not corny. We still got the Marvel quips. I love the scene where she's like, "Listen here, teenager." Jennifer's like, "Damn, full gov." That is the type of comedy we need in a series like this. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a well-deserved 5 out of 5 Frankie Flames.